Hey everybody, in today's video I'm going to be showing you how to set the time on your Timex T2D941 automatic watch. So this is an automatic watch. As you can see, my second hand is already going around. If your watch is functioning properly, once you pick it up and you start moving it a little bit, you should see your second hand start going, because that's what an automatic watch will do. You really shouldn't have to wind it in order to get the second hand moving, but you will need to wind it in order to build up your power reserve, which we're looking at down here on the bottom. So this is an automatic watch with a screw down crown. Basically what that means is that the crown screws into the watch, and what that does for you is it allows the watch to have a little bit of water resistance so that water cannot get into the mechanics of the watch. This is not a waterproof watch. There's some watches that are waterproof, which means you can dive in them, so on and so forth. This one just screws in enough so that you can splash around, splash some water on it, wash your hands, stuff like that, and you shouldn't mess up the watch. So first thing we need to do is we need to unscrew that crown. So all I'm going to do is turn it counterclockwise till you feel it kind of pull out, and you'll know that your crown is out. Now the one thing we're going to want to look at here is up at the top here in the subdial. We've got an hour indicator. You've got 24 notches on here to show you what hour you're on. So we're going to want to set that accordingly, and then we're also going to want to pay attention to that with regards to our date down here. If I pull the crown to the first position, that's going to be my date adjustment for this Cyclops date window. If I go clockwise, it will not do anything. So as I'm turning it, you'll see that the date is not changing. But if I go counterclockwise, that allows me to set the date accordingly. Now in this case, because the watch is already on the 3 hour, which basically means in the AM, I'm setting the time right now, it's 1:43 p.m. I want to set the date to the prior date than today, because once I start setting my time and I go around up here, it's going to flip my date. So today is the 7th. So what I'm going to want to do is set this to the 6th. Now you won't always have to do this. Again, it kind of depends on where your 24 hour indicator fell. So I'm going to go down to the 6th. And then once I go around up here and set my time accordingly, we should see my date adjust, and that will have everything in sync. So now I'm going to pull the crown out to the furthest position all the way out. You'll notice that my second hand stopped because we've got a hacking mechanism in this watch, which means when you're setting the time, the second hand will not run. And now we're simply going to move our time all the way around. Now in my case, I'm going to have to go around several times because I need to get to the PM indicator. So I'm just going to keep moving it here. And again, my date is 1 day forward, so I want to go through a full date and then come around to the correct time. So you will notice that my date down here moved to the 7th. That's good. And now what I need to do is get to 1 p.m. So I'm basically going to keep going around. And now I need to go to 1:44 p.m., which is where I am. Now that I've got my time set correctly, my 12 and 24 hour indicator is correct, and my date is correct, I can simply push the crown all the way back in, and my second hand will start moving. We've got everything set. The last thing we can do here is we can charge up our power indicator, and we're going to do that by turning the watch clockwise, our crown clockwise. That's going to wind the watch. So as I turn it, if you notice my power indicator down here, it will start moving accordingly. Now this is an automatic watch. You're not supposed to be able to overwind them. I never really trust that. So what I usually do here is I go as far as I want to. In my case, I'm only going to be wearing it for a couple of days, so I'm going to put it at about halfway. You can go all the way to high, but once you get to high, I kind of stop there and then let the watch just kind of charge itself based on the movements of your hand. Once you've got it set, the last thing you need to do is we need to push the crown in and re-thread it, so that if we wash our hands or anything like that, no water is going to get in. You don't want to over tighten that. Once you feel the threads connect, you're just going to want to turn it until it gets nice and tight. Don't over tighten it, and you've successfully set the time on your Timex watch. I hope the video helps.